Hey guys, what's going on? M.K.S here, back to another video, of course. Hope everyone's well wherever you are. I didn't really plan this out because I just saw something on the news. I don't normally watch news, but I saw something that was. I just flicked the TV on and I saw something about a case here in the UK. I don't know if people know it overseas. I'm sure people have heard of it around the world, but many people might not have heard of it. But Stephen Lawrence, unfortunately, was murdered a while back. I think they say like 26 or 27 years ago. By some, like, I suppose, white supremacists or whatever, in a racist attack, of course. And so, yeah, fortunately, obviously, that was a really sad incident. But I thought, since I saw something about it on the news, and I think they're closing the case, I thought I would, even though I don't know a huge amount about the case, obviously, I know it was said to be a racist incident and that sort of thing. But as I say, I'm not an expert on the case, so I don't know 100% about the case, but I thought I'd make a video about some of my thoughts or ideas about, unfortunately the idea came to me a bit late, but yeah, anyway, sorry, so about some of the things that could be done to mark Stephen Lawrence's legacy. So things that could be done for the BAME, Black and Minority Ethnic Community. Here in the UK we call it, some people call it BAME, not everyone uses that term, but I think it's a fairly recent term. But so yeah, Black and Minority Ethnic community. So yeah, I thought I'd talk about some of my potential ideas about what could be done to use Stephen Lawrence's legacy to, I'll say, make some positives. So as ever, I'd love to hear what you think about these ideas. I hope, I mean, I know there is like already a charitable trust in his legacy, so I hope I don't repeat too many ideas that they already have. So, but I thought, but hopefully I'll share this video with the people who run that charity. I don't know if it's his parents or someone else, and hopefully they'll like at least some ideas. And they might not agree with all of them, or like all of them, or again, they might have already say they've already done some of them. So, but anyway, so I'm going to try and stop waffling and get on with the list. Obviously, I know it's a really serious topic, but I'm hoping something positive can be made out of it. So yeah, here goes. So. Number one, I think like it'd be great to have, like, as I say, to make a positive from a negative. I think it'd be great to have grants or funds from banks or businesses encouraged by the government, or even the government itself, or NGOs or other such institutions or organizations, whichever institutions or organizations would be willing to do so, to have like grants for Black and minority businesses, like minority-owned businesses, if you like, or people of color, especially Black young people, to set up their own businesses and things like that. So as I say, I think that would be a good like legacy, as I keep saying, sorry, but making it positive from a negative. But yeah, so like having grants for, and maybe even to bring together like different ethnic minority groups, or people generally, like diverse groups, or to support diverse communities. Number two, again, this might have already been done, because here where I live in, probably shouldn't give my I'll say the city I live in, I won't say the town, but in Leicester, or Leicestershire, yeah, I think it comes under Leicester. It's not too far away from the city centre, but there's like already a part of the university, I think it's Leicester Uni, or even De Montfort Uni, I'm not sure which. I think it's De Montfort Uni, actually. So it already has like Stephen Lawrence wing, I think. Again, I don't know a huge amount about it, but I think it'd be great to have like as many scholarships or grants or funding for Black students, especially to improve their situation academic-wise or education. I'm not really that keen on academia myself, but obviously it's horses for courses, and obviously an economy needs all types of minds. Like, it needs people who are academic, like mathematicians, scientists, and people like that. And people say the big areas now are STEM. So I mainly like to help developing countries, but, or what I call the four, which I mentioned before, or Latin Americans and people like that. But I think it would be good for like my ethnic minorities to get those opportunities in things like science and engineering and maths and things like that, and entrepreneurship and whatever else, and maybe even like learning their accounts and that sort of thing, having like teachers and mentors to help to train them. Again, like to have things in the, like charitable from the like Stephen Lawrence legacy and charitable trusts and things like that. Number three, like maybe like the government could look into ways that it can help. Normally I'm quite libertarian, so I don't really like to force people, but to do things they don't want to do, or force the taxpayers to pay more tax or things like that. So, but maybe even like giving tax exemptions for BAME, again, like minority ethnic communities or disadvantaged communities, like to have tax relief or tax benefits, especially like possibly even, dare I say, to make up some of the discriminations we face as communities, and like how we can work together perhaps as well. Number 4, again, like BAME communities working together, and looking at how like we can improve relations between like Black, Asian, mixed race, and other minority communities, and maybe even like disabled groups or other disadvantaged or minority communities, and like support Black women in business, for instance, or women of colour in business, and how they can network together and improve relations as well, especially young girls, and possibly, again, like these are just some ideas. So again, like the Stephen Lawrence Trust may well take some of these ideas on board and not others, but obviously it's at their discretion which ones, if any, they like or not. Number 5, maybe like things like people of color could support each other's YouTube videos, again, like, or talk about any experiences we've had of discrimination in life. Like, I know, I mean, like me, I'm quite lucky, if you like. I'm not really experienced massive amounts of discrimination, luckily, probably because of the areas I've been to, or I'm quite reclusive as well, so I don't go out that much. And so that's probably been a bit of a blessing in a way, or a bit lucky of me, because otherwise maybe I've experienced some racism, but not that much, to be honest. But it would be interesting to hear like people who are Black or Asian sharing their experiences in like Black and Asian communities, seeing how much they actually have in common, or even mixed race people like me, like I jokingly call mutts. So like different groups, regardless of our differences, like looking at what we do have in common, like how many people of color can say how often they've been told to go back to their own country, or things like that, and like hopefully that will improve relations between Black, Asian, and other minority groups, and how they can work together again in business and support each other's projects like YouTube channels and things like that. I know this goes, it's like repeats some of the stuff I say in my other videos a little bit, but again, like this is hopefully specifically in memory of Stephen Lawrence, as I say, to make a positive from a negative situation, as I keep saying. Number 6, again, like grants and things like in education, and banks and other businesses and investors, creditors, funders, and all that being encouraged to invest in or fund Black or Asian, or again BAME, or other minority communities, maybe even disabled or other groups, in business and things like that, like maybe giving favourable loans or things like that. Number 7, I'd love to maybe have a think tank where we can share different ideas about what can improve the lives of minorities or people of colour or disadvantaged groups in the country generally. Number 8, again, people who can come together and talk about how we can support each other against hatred or white supremacy, or all forms of extremism or hatred, and how we can support each other and so we have each other's backs. So if people go through a bad experience, people can see that there are people who do care. It won't always help, obviously. Unfortunately, in this specific incident, obviously it's very violent people. So I suppose if you're a pacifist like me, it's quite hard to fight back. I mean, I'd like to think if I did have to fight back, I would fight back if I was attacked. But obviously, in the situation, it's quite difficult. But it is sometimes good to know that if you were attacked, or if you either verbally or in other ways, that people out there are not all like that, and that you have support, other people like yourself, or other people who do value diversity, or whatever their background is. Again, working together against hatred and extremism as communities and things like that, especially diverse communities like the one I live in. And number 9, helping Black or ethnic minority poets or other creatives, or people whether spoken poets or written poets, and having role models to look up to, people like Benjamin Zephaniah and people like that. So hopefully that can inspire more people to get into creative industries and encourage each other in writing, art, and things like that, and help each other to publish books or talk about our experiences again, and find a platform to communicate and converse with each other, and know we have a voice and things like that. and maybe more people of colour or minorities or whatever you call us, BAME or whatever. Maybe I'll use the term POC, people of colour. But again, BAME or people of colour, whichever you prefer. Like maybe more of us in politics and having a powerful voice and things like that. And number 10, again, supporting young people, like especially, I think the younger you start, the better to get people of colour or BAME or whatever you want to call us out of crime, or again, to become professionals, like professionals of colour. POC could also stand for like poets or professionals of colour or police of colour, and also how we can work together with the police. Sorry if I was waffling. I'd love to hear what you think as ever, and hopefully someone out there enjoyed it. And I'd love to hear what the Stephen Lawrence Trust Foundation thinks about my ideas. And again, if they want to take any on board or not, hopefully I'll take at least some on board and put them into practice. But obviously it's their choice which ones, if any, they want to take on board. Anyway, peace and love, and I'm out.